Hello everybody, it's Hippodippin here, and today we're going to be doing some Pokemon competitive analysis. Today we have Jolteon, who is my actual favorite EV evolution, and yeah, he's actually a pretty decent special attacker, as I found out in some battles. Now, just before we go ahead and get started here, YouTube has been kind of screwing up for me, and I've been meaning to upload more videos in these past 2 days, but YouTube's been screwing up, and then finally, once I get a good opponent, his connection kind of fails, and then it's this whole big thing. So hopefully this video will get uploaded, and yeah, I'm expecting a pretty cool video. So back to the Pokemon. We're doing Jolteon this week, today rather, and he has some pretty good items that can work well with him. We have Expert Belt, and super effective attacks against Pokemon do 1.2 times damage. So that's additional damage stacked on top of this pretty good Pokemon. Another good item is Life Orb. Oops. Life Orb. And his moves do 1.3 times damage, but he loses 1/10 of his max HP each turn. So that's kind of a thing you can go ahead and throw on there. Another good item is the Air Balloon. And here it is. He's immune to ground type attacks. But usually, I kind of have a cool move on here. If you guys can see, it's Magnet Rise, and we'll get into that in a second, but it pretty much makes Air Balloon kind of not necessary. But, as we can see here in a second, if we go to his ability, he also gets Quick Feet. So what that means is, if he is statused, his speed is 1.5 times, right? So that's kind of cool. So you can slap on I think it's a Flame Orb? Yeah, Flame Orb. And the reason you want a Flame Orb as opposed to a Toxic Orb is if you wanted Jolteon to stay in there for the maximum amount of time, you want a Flame Orb because over time Toxic, its damage is cumulative. Like, it's crazy. And overall, you know, I prefer a Flame Orb just because I want Jolteon in there as much as possible, and that's pretty cool. Now, I'm going to stick with the, what's it called, Expert Belt, just because I don't want any unnecessary damage on my Pokemon. I generally don't like that, unless I know they're pretty frail, and which Jolteon is, but I kind of want to stick with the Expert Belt, just for that extra power. Now, let's go ahead and look at his moves. We can see here that he gets Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Hidden Power Ice, and Magnet Rise. Now this is kind of a semi-unique set because of Magnet Rise. Magnet Rise makes this Pokemon extremely valuable. Now, for example, let's take a Garchomp, right? Now, provided Garchomp is not Scarfed, we can go ahead to set up a Magnet Rise and go ahead and watch his Earthquake miss, because of course he's going to go for an Earthquake. An Earthquake from pretty much almost any Pokemon will kill a Jolteon. But let's say they go for a ground type attack, right? You can go ahead and set up a Magnet Rise before them, because you are extremely fast, as we will see here in a second, and then go for a Hidden Power Ice, and then knock them out 100%. It's crazy. This Pokemon is insane. And let me tell you, this is a good Gliscor killer. I mean, it really is. So, that's what we want to have kind of the mindset around. Now, we have two electric type moves, Thunderbolt and Volt Switch, and the reason for that is Volt Switch is kind of strange in the way that it works. Thunderbolt is a pretty good stab move, 90 base power with stab. It's going to bring you up to right around 135 power, so that's pretty great, and that's good if you want to stay in and just launch electric attacks at the Pokemon. But Volt Switch is a good scouting move because you can send out Jolteon early, and provided there isn't a ground type Pokemon that you can't take care of with Hidden Power Ice, you can go ahead and switch the heckles out of there and get out. But the reason I have Thunderbolt and Volt Switch is because once you use Volt Switch, you have to stay. You have to switch out, and if I want Jolteon to stay in, I want Jolteon to stay in. So I want to keep Thunderbolt on there just as a secondary stab move, and Hidden Power Ice is a pretty standard electric type move. You could also go with Shadow Ball, but usually I have another Pokemon on my team that can take care of Ghost types or Psychic types. So that's what I like to keep down there. And Magnet Rise is also one of my favorite moves in the game. just because you can go ahead and sneak up on those ground-type Pokemon and, take them out. So, that is that. Now let's go ahead and look at his stats. 4 HP, 252 special attack, 252 plus speed. Now that's going to max out his speed, and if you have the Toxic Orb or the Flame Orb and the Quick Feed ability, you are going to be outspeeding everything in the game. Pretty much no Scarfed Pokemon can outspeed you. Really, that's what that means. And that's pretty great, unless it's like a Deoxys speed. Deoxys speed, I can't talk. So what that means is you're going to be outspeeding pretty much everything, even some of the Scarfed heavy hitters like Scarf Garchomp or Scarf whatever. You're going to be outspeeding them, and that's pretty great. But usually I like to stick with the safer Expert Belt and Volt Absorb ability. So that's that. But look, let's go back to his stats here. Now he's got a pretty high special attack and a excellent speed stat. I think that's on par with Crobat. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for Jolteon. You can go ahead and switch out maybe Hidden Power Ice for Shadow Ball if you want that extra coverage, but I prefer Hidden Power Ice just to hit those ground-type Pokemon pretty hard. And yeah, I'm Hippidibin. If you like the content, subscribe. I really appreciate it. Leave a like, whatever. And I'll see you guys later. Thanks. Bye.